be episode 2.
Episode 2.
Here
you
we
remember
go.
what episode 2 is?
No, I don't remember at all.
Pistol caliber carbine.
Pistol caliber carbine.
And, well,
The
45
suppressors.
long Colt, too.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, that's pistol. Old school pistol caliber carbine. So what'd we test, Pat? We tested a silencer co-octane in 45.
45 long Colt.
Yep, that one was mine. That's the only one I really totally remember. What else?
The Huxwrx Rad 45 in the short configuration on a stride
And that one's
ball.
yours, right?
Yep.
Yep.
The AB F4L and the Huxwrx Cash 9. And the Cash 9 was on a, it was on a Colt SMG.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that was Dan's. What was the
sure.
AB 4L?
I think that was on the MP5.
Okay. All right. I'm tracking now. I think I got it.
So we had a couple full autos in there.
Yeah. Was the 4L, is that a 45 or a 9mm?
That's a 9mm because AB
Okay.
only makes 9mm. They don't make 45
All right.
caliber cans.
Okay, very cool. All right. So we had two 45s and two 9mm, but they were all shooting 9mm except my Henry lever gun was shooting 45 long Colt.
Got a question about that gun.
Yes, sir.
Why did you buy a lever action?
Because, and I hope she sees this, Jade Struck.
Convince you to buy one?
Well, she convinced me. I just watched her and I thought, someday maybe she'll come out here and I can train with my lever action Henry with her lever action Henry.
Yeah, and to be honest, she was at the Huxwrx party
Oh, yeah.
at the bar. I was talking to her at the bar at the Huxwrx party at SHOT.
And we did a little video with her too. We pushed out Bill Henry, one of the top 100 Henry dealers in the United States. If you're looking for a Henry rifle, call Bill Henry.
Yeah, she's always super nice, but I just had to put that plug in there because
No, I gotta be honest. I bought it because of a chick that I watched on social media.
yep.
Yeah. So anyway, where you want to start?
Let's talk about the 45 long Colt and the Silence Co octane.
So that octane, I've had on MP5 when I worked for the sheriff's department in another city. So I had it on a full auto MP5, and I put a lot of rounds through it. I mean, 15, 20,000 rounds through that can probably, through that MP5. And I had it on a HK, UCR, or it's a
UMP.
Well, it's not a UMP because it's not full auto, but it's the UMP 45 version.
Yeah.
I've had on that, like ridiculously quiet on that 45. Ridiculously, the action working is way louder than the shot going down range on that 45. But we're starting with subsonic, and then now I've got it on that Henry, and again 45 long Colt. We're subsonic. I mean, you guys, if you watch the videos, you're going to notice the lever is louder than the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's badass. If I had a 45 anything suppress that thing, you're gonna freaking love it, man.
Yeah, I remember actually shooting whatever the UMP version is out here suppressed. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's super quiet. I loved it on my MP5 though. Don't get me wrong. It was hearing safe enough on my MP5 for definitely for CQB. You know what I mean? Like I knew I wasn't going to walk out of a house with hearing damage from using that inside in close quarters, situations. So I loved it on that too. I like that can. But it's old. It's an old school can. There's better cans out there today. Again, that came back when Lex was. We were buying cans with Lex, and long time ago.
Yeah.
So what was next?
Next one was the Rad 45 in the short configuration.
And that's yours.
Yep, and I chose to run it on the short configuration just because, I don't know, I wanted to run it short. I should have ran a video with it on the short configuration and long configuration, both with subsonic ammo and regular ammo. But maybe that's something I'll do at a later date.
So I'm not big on, it's just me, this isn't, but I'm not big on testing 9mm with subsonic ammo because when would we use subsonic ammo on a 9mm?
Yeah.
We want all the performance we want, or all the performance we can get out of that. I mean, I'm talking about shooting meat. We want all the performance we can get. I want to be running a plus P. You know what I mean? That's how I want to test them, is the rounds that I'd use. Okay, if we just want to see how quiet it was, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, man, we well, you know, we wouldn't go downstairs to fight a gang of bad guys with subsonic 9mm, you know, more than likely. So I think we test. I mean, I think it's tested the right way. We did test it later with 2 rounds of
subsonic.
Yeah, 2 rounds subsonic, 2 rounds. But I'm more interested in you know, in basically the supersonic or the full power 9mm. You know.
Yeah.
It worked well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I watched the videos, but you know, sitting in there, it's a good can, man, real good can.
I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, and I would say, hey, mine's better. Well, I can't say mine's better because it's shooting a 45 long Colt versus a 9mm. You know what I mean? So there's no comparison between the two.
The next one was the AB F4L, which is, so the AB has a long configuration, just a regular configuration on the 9mm. And that was ran off of an MP5. So we got actual full auto through here.
Yeah, the last two suppressors we popped some full auto with, and that AB, good suppressor.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to tell you, there's not as much difference in PCC suppressors as there is in more of the full power suppressors.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion, you know. And it's probably just has to do with the pistol caliber round. Maybe is a little easier to suppress.
Yeah.
You know, but a good suppressor. And what was the last one?
The Cash 9 on the Huxwrx.
Yeah, super, super good suppressor. Once again, the Huxwrx just a hair louder.
Yeah.
And in my subjective opinion, just a hair louder. But again, hey, you got a PCC, you want to suppress it, pick and choose what you're going to do with this gun again. You know what I mean? What you're going to do with it, and buy the suppressor based on that. You know, buy the suppressor based on that. Now, I did not see the issues with my MP5 getting terrible dirty as fast as I see an M4 getting terrible dirty and fast from a suppressor. So forward or back technology in a PCC to me is not as important or of a choice. Like it minimizes. I'm not saying it's not but it minimizes the choice.
Well, we've ran suppressors on full auto PCCs before, and the biggest thing with the gas is getting it away from your face, because man, that burns whenever it gets in your eyes.
Yeah, that's something to consider. And here's the other thing to consider on this, and this is no joke. You can talk to my buddy Tom, or talk to my buddy Dan, guys that ran suppressors heavy in enclosed training environments, like CQB setups that weren't super well ventilated and stuff, and just shooting over that all day. Hey, they're doing some chelation stuff trying to get these heavy metals out of their body now. Like it's a health issue.
Yeah.
And it's not just a health issue in an indoor range. It's a health issue.
Yeah.
It's if you shoot it a lot, you are taking in heavy metals. There's several solutions to it. One is push the gas out the front. One is wear a frickin' I don't want to call it a ventilator, but they make some tactical respirators.
Yeah. And
we got one year, along with a helmet and some hearing protection from a company. And I've only worn it once. I'm not a big respirator guy, but I get it. You know what I mean? If I was making entries like some of the tier 1 units are doing day in, day out, probably now that we know about heavy metal poisoning and how hard it is to solve heavy metal poisoning, because chelation sucks. Tom basically lost all his teeth going through chelation, to get that heavy metals out of his body. You know what I mean? It sucks. So, hey, let's protect ourselves from it. It's something to think about. But you know what? Most of them aren't going to shoot enough rounds to even come close to worrying about that.
Nope, you're probably going to have to either come to one of Coslow's classes or go to Battlefield Vegas or something like that to really understand what those guys go through on a daily basis.
Yeah, and then multiply that by 100, and then multiply that by 5 to 6 days a week. You know what I mean? Like that's where you'll get it. But yeah, I don't have any. What, you got anything on pistol caliber? All the suppressors work good. I was impressed.
Stay tuned for our wrap up.
Yeah.
This is an HK MP5K with a Huxwrx Cash 9.
Send it.
This is a Colt SMG 9mm with an AB F4L.
Send it.
This is a HK MP5K with the AB F4L.
Send it.
This is a 9mm Strybog with a Huxwrx Rad 45.
Send it.
This is a Henry 45 Long Colt with a Silencer Co. Octane.
Send it. Henry Long Colt with a Huxwrx Rad 45 this time. Send it.
This is the Huxwrx Cash 9.
Send it.
This is the AB FL4.
Send it.
This is the Huxwrx Rad 45 in short configuration. First 2 rounds are regular, second 2 rounds are subsonic.
Send them. So once again, Pat. Pat.
Wrap up.
Hey,
Wrap up PCCs.
if they're still with us.
Yeah. So just a reminder, on those PCCs, the first round out of that suppressor at night is going to be louder and brighter because it's burning off the gas and the oxygen.
It is. It's just the thing to keep in mind is, hey, we're not running the velocity and we're not running the amount of powder, so it's less noticeable than in a, than in a rifle caliber.
Yeah.
It's less because there's just not as much there. There's not as much velocity. You know what I mean? It's there, but it's not as much.
So I'm interested in your vantage point there. We had a Huxwrx Rad 45
Yeah.
and a Cash 9.
Yeah.
So the diameter is a little bit different. Was there a huge
I would
difference in
say
signature?
I'd say indiscernible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that to me, indiscernible, subjectively indiscernible.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's measurable, scientifically, but in real life, nobody would say, oh man, he's got a 45 can, he's got 9mm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody'd know the difference. Yeah.
I'd say that if you're trying to decide between the Rad or the Cash system, the Cash system is going to be a little bit cheaper, but you don't have the ability to run it in the long configuration and everything else like that. So the Cash one,
Yeah.
a little bit more better price point, but
Again, it's just, hey, how are you going to use it? What do you want to use it for? Do I have multiple calibers? And if you do, you know what I mean? If you have multiple calibers, then why not go with the 45? It gives you flexibility. But if not, no big deal. The only other thing I'll say on the PCCs is the AB is a good suppressor, but the AB does not have the capability of going on a pistol. And that's not exactly true. Some pistols will function with it, but it doesn't have the adapter or I don't know what it's called.
the piston.
There you go. Doesn't have the piston. So that's, if you want to put it, if you're looking at something to go on a pistol and a rifle, not that the AB won't work on some pistols, but I wouldn't take a chance. I'd go with one of the others.
And the reason how come it will work on some of the pistols is because how lightweight it is.
Yeah, it's so light. Yeah.
But if you are running a PCC, you're not going to want to run it with a piston in it.
No.
And so you're going to want a different adapter, and that's something to think about whenever you're buying them. Is whether it's a rifle or a pistol, you got to think about those QD attachments and everything, because they're not. Some of them get pretty pricey. You're talking about $100 to $120 just for,
especially in the Huxwrx series.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you're running the PCC, whenever you're buying it, you need to figure out, does it come with a piston? Does it not? And what do I plan on running it on?
Yeah, and this is something that messed with me a little bit, because there's PCC rifles out there that are running 7-inch, 6-inch barrels. You know what I mean? What's your Strybog?
I think it's about an 8.
About an 8, but that's not a lot more than say a Glock 34 with 5.5, 5 3/4, whatever it is. The difference is recoil management. That pistol's moving more, taking some of the momentum away from things that are functioning inside. That's why it needs that piston to make up for that.
Yeah.
And it's not the only reason, but that's part of the reason. Barrel length isn't the whole thing. Stability on the gun is a lot of it. Yeah. So, hey, you drive a gun really hard, this AB suppressor might work, and then the next person picks it up and it might jam every time.
Yeah.
It's just, it's each its own. But if I was going to put it from a pistol to a rifle back and forth, I'd have one with a piston.
Yeah. I agree.
I've never used a suppressor on a pistol personally. I've shot other people's, but I've never done it.
Yeah, Lex's son runs it every time he comes out.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, it always has. Yeah, they've had their pistols have been suppressed for years.
And if you're going to run something like a 5.7, and we'll get into this in our next episode, you can run a 22 can on a 5.7 if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. We're going to have to ask somebody who knows something. Maybe you.
Yeah.
All right. So, you got any last thoughts?
Last thought is me personally, I'd get a 45 caliber can because you can run it on 45s clear down to 9mm, and so it's just better.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I don't think there's any reason not to. But you know what? You want a dedicated 9mm can? No, and that's all you're ever going to have.
Yeah.
No issues. And here's the thing: you get a 45, you can get your wife to, find out you bought 3 of them.
Okay. We'll break down what happened in the next episode. So you guys, next episode is 22 caliber.